Okay, so here we have an AKG Perception Wireless PT-45. So this is the bit you plug the mic into, and someone has given me it and said that this wee bit was loose and in and out of the wee connector, and now it's disconnected. So I'm going to open it up and expect to find that this bit needs resoldered onto whatever board. Someone tried to fix it and didn't manage, so let's see what we've got. So there's a couple of wee clips at the bottom. And then a couple of screws at the top. Right, so we can see the wee repair that's going on there. Trying to gently prise this off. I don't even know if it comes off. Right, so basically somebody's tried to fix it here. Let me find a small implement. We've got a red wire, a green wire and a black wire, and they're definitely connected to something, but it's hard to see what. So, oh, they're the same on the other side of. So I think in order to take the PCB out, you disconnect these two, which lead to the battery, which is relatively straightforward. Is that the only thing that is? So that the input seems to just, is that just, I don't really understand how that's in there. There's a bit of plastic that goes around the input and locks it in place, but I don't know whether it's also possible to remove it. Now, I don't know if these have been put in the right place. Well, that one's not even connected, so we know that's not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google and see if I can find a picture, and then I will attempt to wire it a bit better. So that would come off, would it? These things are not made to be maintained. Problem is, I have this little area to try and get into here. And that is a screw. I can't tell whether I want that to come out or not. I think the first thing to do would be to disconnect the battery and tidy the whole thing up, and then make sure it works. Let me see if I've got a picture of. Right, today is meant to be just my open it up and see what it looks like. I might disconnect the battery. Do I want to do that? And then I can make it all nice and clean. Let's do that. So I couldn't find the solder wick, so I'm just going to use solder sucker to just Right, so now that is off the bottom, I can get a better look at it and potentially connect another battery to it, right? Now what I'm thinking is to put in some more substantial wires rather than trying to deal with all that flimsy stuff. So one of my questions is, how much of a cavity is there to fold up a slightly longer wire? And I think we should get away with it. So it was wired red, green, black. I'll take a wee photo of that. So I pretty much plan to try and get it working outside of the wee plastic case, and then try and get it back into the wee plastic case. Maybe I just disconnect the PCB. So basically I'm going to try and the soldering wasn't particularly tidy, and it was really hard to tell if these other components were, I still can't tell, so I'm going to tidy that up a wee bit. Right, so this is meant to clamp onto my table, but the toddler thinks it's a snake and has basically destroyed it. Now, annoyingly, that's like kind of tidied, but we don't have holes, we just have spaces. I think it will work out. And then at this end, we have the flimsiest of wee wires. And this looks like it's had a repair. So I want to tidy these up. I don't want to lose how it was connected. And that assumes that it was connected correctly. So I will tidy up the red one. Right, I'm going to attach a wee bit of red wire to that while I still remember which one's red. There we go, so much for just having a wee look at it. Okay, the green wire is going to be orange. The red wire is going to be red, and the black wire is going to be black. I can't find any green wire. Right, so we're trying to adhere a wee bit of wire onto a square of solder on a PCB and onto a wee peg on whatever those connectors are called. I used to have AKG headphones that used the same. I don't know whether it's proprietary or whether it's just not used that often. So because we're not going on to loops or hoops or anything like that, we do what's called tinning the wires. So we add solder to the wires before we start, which theoretically gives us something to join onto. Might as well do the other ones. So I'm confident my desk's not made of MDF that's going to be carcinogenic when you drop solder on it. He said optimistically. Right, so let's put a wee red wire on that one there. Let's put a wee black wire on this one here. And let's put a green wire on this one. And the green wire for tonight's performance will be orange. So I'm just going to put a wee bit of shielding along the bottom of them, because I've left quite a lot of wire exposed. Right, so that's now relatively clean. There's a wee in and out on the plug itself. That screw was in the other way. Glad I checked. Okay, what did I use? A fake Bic, an empty fake Bic pen, although it's actually quite tight. But I think that was the issue, so let me just make sure it's as tight as I can make it. Yeah, that's not moving. Right, now, can I get I think this is lost. I don't really know how you're doing that on off mute thing. Pretty sure that wasn't in my watch that disappeared. Where does that go? I wonder if there's extra bits for that. Here we go, so that's that back. Don't know what that bit's for. Right, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do them. Right, I'll go from the top down because the top's going to be the most footery. Knew that would come in handy. Very unsatisfying. Trying to drop solder onto a joint. I think no matter what one I did last, it was going to be the most annoying. Right, so let's turn that a wee bit and hope that solder doesn't drop on the back of the PCB. How are we going to prevent that? Right, so there we go. It's not my best work, but it's quite good considering, I think. Now, I wonder if they are going to get squashed by that backing. Right, only one way to tell. Right, the good old continuity tester. So, I might draw a direct diagram. But I've checked with the continuity tester. The reason I'm doing this is they might need swapped around, because I assumed that they'd been put back in the correct positions. So the bottom one is the green/orange, and top left is, or was, black. Come on, it's so hard to hold on to these. And then so if it is of any interest to anybody and that makes any sense to anybody, that's how it's wired. Right, the battery's all good. Right, it's showing itself on. Now, let me see if I can remember how these work. One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I should really record this, you just have to trust me it works. 1, 2, 1, 2. Look, it works. Right, that's it all fixed. There we are, it all works. It's not the prettiest I've ever seen, but it'll do the job. Right, so the only remaining challenge is to try and put all this back together without breaking it. There we go, so that's it, fully intact. So just give it one last try. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Da, 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 da.